The much-anticipated clash between Arsenal and Manchester United at Old Trafford turned into a frustrating night for Arsenal fans who had placed their hopes on new signing Viktor Gyökeres to deliver the goals in what has already been touted as one of the defining fixtures of the early Premier League season. The Swedish striker, who arrived with huge expectations after a prolific spell in Portugal, looked sharp in his movement and aggressive in pressing but ultimately failed to convert any of the half-chances that came his way, leaving supporters with mixed feelings after a game that demanded clinical finishing. From the very beginning, Arsenal's approach was clear. They came to Old Trafford with confidence, keen to stamp their authority and prove their credentials as genuine title contenders. The build-up play was fluid, orchestrated by Martin Odegaard in midfield, while Bukayo Saka and Gabriel Martinelli worked tirelessly to stretch United's defense. Every attack seemed to funnel toward Gyökeres, who was playing in the number 9 role with the hopes of opening his Premier League account against one of Arsenal's fiercest rivals. Yet, despite the energy, the anticipation, and the opportunities created, the decisive goal never arrived from him. The first half provided a glimpse of what Arsenal fans expected when Gyökeres nearly latched onto a clever through ball from Odegaard. His physical presence unsettled United's backline, especially when challenging for aerial duels with Lisandro Martinez. However, when he was put through on goal midway through the first half, his shot lacked the venom required to beat Andre Onana, who saved comfortably. It was a moment that drew sighs from the travelling Arsenal supporters, who had been waiting to erupt in celebration of their new striker's breakthrough moment. As the match wore on, the frustration grew. Arsenal dominated possession but found themselves repeatedly undone by United's disciplined defensive shape. Gyökeres was often caught between trying to link play and looking for space behind the defense, but he struggled to find the balance. Several crosses were floated into the box, yet he mistimed his headers or was beaten in the air, something fans were not accustomed to seeing given his reputation as a lethal target man. The Arsenal bench urged him to stay sharp, but the night seemed to be one where nothing quite clicked for him in front of goal. Arsenal fans had been dreaming of a statement performance, one that would announce Gyökeres as the long-awaited striker to end their struggles in decisive matches. Instead, what they witnessed was a player still adapting to the intensity and pressure of the Premier League. While his work rate could not be faulted, he pressed, tracked back, and held the ball up at times. It was his inability to finish that defined the night. Each missed opportunity reminded supporters of past frustrations, the very reason the club spent heavily to secure his signature. Manchester United, buoyed by the home crowd, capitalized on Arsenal's lack of cutting edge. Their counter-attacks were sharp, and Arsenal's defense had to stay alert to deny them the breakthrough. For Gyökeres, this meant dropping deeper at times to support the build-up, but that also pulled him away from dangerous positions in the box. The longer the game went without him making a decisive contribution, the more visible his frustration became. He gestured at teammates when crosses came in too high, shook his head when passes were intercepted, and at one point even looked skyward in disbelief after scuffing a shot wide. Despite his struggles, Mikel Arteta defended his striker after the match, highlighting his effort and the importance of patience. Arteta reminded fans that adaptation takes time and that Gyökeres will find his rhythm as he builds chemistry with his teammates. It was a diplomatic response, but it did little to soften the disappointment of fans who had expected goals in a fixture of such magnitude. In the stands and online, reactions were swift and unforgiving. Supporters expressed their dismay at the lack of ruthlessness, pointing out that in games against direct rivals like Manchester United, chances cannot be wasted. Some argued that Arsenal's title hopes hinge on having a striker who can deliver in big games, and if Gyökeres fails to rise to that standard, the investment could be questioned. Others, however, defended him, stressing that this was just one match and that great strikers often need time before exploding onto the scene. The bigger picture for Arsenal is that they remain competitive, and the performance as a whole showed they are capable of dominating top sides away from home. Yet, without a finisher to cap off their play, those dominant spells risk becoming meaningless. For Gyökeres, the pressure is already mounting, not just because of the price tag but because of the expectations tied to Arsenal's ambitions this season. Each game without a